Hi guys, welcome to Digital TechJoint. I hope everybody is doing good and you guys are really enjoying the tutorials that are uploaded in my channel. In this video tutorial, I am going to show you how to quickly implement Blazor QuickGrid component in your Blazor Server app. So what is a QuickGrid component? A QuickGrid component is a Razor component for displaying the data in a tabular format as well as implementing various features and functions like pagination, sorting and filtering without writing much code to get this functionality done in your application. So let's get started and see how to implement the QuickGrid component in Blazor Server app. So we'll open Visual Studio 2022 and we are going to select Blazor Server app over here, and you can also search from the search bar, that is Blazor. You can just type in server app and here you can see Blazor Server app for C#, and I click on next, and here I'm going to say quick grade demo. Next I'll remove HTTPS, and here I want to make an important note is that QuickGrid will support on Framework 8.0 because QuickGrid was introduced in .NET Framework 8.0. However, when you notice that it doesn't give me the options of selecting 8.0, which is sort of a bug, and even if I have downloaded the latest frameworks in my system. So the workaround as of now is to select 7.0, click the create button and create the project. Once you create the project, right click on the project name and go to the properties and make sure that you select the target framework as 8.0. So this is a sort of a bug which Microsoft will be soon fixing, and in the subsequent release and patch will have this fix done. Okay, so once you select this 8.0, you just need to rebuild once. It's not necessary, but still you can rebuild once. And now let's start implementing the quick grid component. So first thing, I'm going to create a database in my SQL Server Management. So here I'm using a free version of SQL Server Studio Management 19, and you can download this freely. You can also download the latest free version also. It will work because we are just creating a table for the demo. So it should work for any SQL Studio Management. So this is the server name. I'll just make a note of it so that I need to add that in the connection string. And here I'm going to right click and say new database and say quick grid db. Okay, so this is my database name and I click on okay. Let me also go ahead and create the table name for the quick grid db. I'll just right click task and say table. Let's expand this. Right click on the table and say new table, and then we'll just add few columns and id, let it be int, and then we can have first name, this is, and last name. We can have date of DOB, okay, and this is date time. We can have mobile, cat 10, and finally we can have email. Okay, so this is our properties. I'll mark this as primary key. Just right click on it and say set as primary, and we can just remove everything. All these fields are mandatory, and click on save and just call it as persons. Okay, so this has become our table. Right now we don't have any record in the table. Now let's go to our project, and first let's create a model class. So let's create a folder called model, and here you can add a class, say person entity, and here we are going to create those same properties like int, and this is id, and then prop this is string first name and prop string last name. Then we have prop date time. This is DOB. Then we have prop, it's string mobile, and the prop string email address. So we are done with the property. Let me just confirm whether what is the field name for mobile. It's mobile. Okay, fine. So everything's correct. So my class is ready. Obviously you can create this class first, and then you can use the migration command, and use the migration command and create a database as well, a table, which I've shown you in my multiple videos. You can also do that, but this is just by step I'm just showing it to you. So my model is ready, and my database name is also ready, and the table is also ready. Now let's go ahead and add the connection string in the app setting file. Enter connection string, and then enter and the default, name it as default connection or whatever name you would like to add. And then this will be my server. So my server name is, oh, this is not the server name, it's, so I can just go back over here to my studio, and here you can see this is my server name. So I just try to connect again, and here I'll just copy the server name. Okay, copy the server name. Then my database will be QuickGrid DB, then integrated security through, and then we have trust server certificate is through. This is a connection string that you have written it. Now once the connection string is done, let's create application DB context that will connect to this connection string via the program files. So we have a data folder already. Right click on that and say add a class, and name it as application DB context. Now before we proceed over here, let's add the required packages. So click on NuGet package manager, click on search. So first is the core, so we select entity framework core 8.0. then we select SQL server, this one. Now we have to select the QuickGrid component. So here you have to choose QuickGrid, and you need to add this component as well as QuickGrid entity framework adapter. These two you need to install it. First install the QuickGrid, then entity framework adapter. Fine. So now we have all our components ready. Let's go to our application DB context class, and this will implement the DB context class. Okay, and this is, we have to add the using entity. Here you have added that, and just click on it, go to the left hand side and select generate constructor with options and define the table name. So we are going to say db set, and we are going to call the person entity class, and our table name, we have already given our table name in the database, and that's called persons. Okay, so this is done. Now we have to go to the program.file and finally do the database connectivity. So just before the where app equals to builder.build, so we need to inject the connection string and also set up our application for using the QuickGrid. So let's do that. So first I'm going to say builder.services dot add QuickGrid. Here you can see add QuickGrid adapter. That's it. This is the first thing, and then finally we need to add the connection string. Builder dot services dot add db context and our application db context over here, and then we have options lambda, and here we have options dot use sql, and here inside that we say builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and name of the connection string is default connection. So this default connection is defined in our app setting here, right over here. Fine, even this is done now. Now we have the model, we have the application DB context, we have the connection string, and we have the dependency injection set up. Now let's go ahead and implement the QuickGrid. So we are going to use the existing pages. So we go to pages and we are going to use the index. We'll just run this application once. Yeah, so we are able to see the page is getting loaded, and this is typically the default template where we have this fetch data counter and the home page. Now we are going to implement our quick grid over here on the home page. We are going to remove this allowable and display the quick grid over there, and data will be fetched from our database, which currently has only one record. So let us complete the code of quick grid and add few records. We have no, we'll set the page size to 5 so that we don't have to add multiples and large volume of data to demo the paging code. So let's break this point and let's close this debugging. And this was a page that was default loaded home page, that is index. So here I'm going to add certain references which is required. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just remove this. So this page title will be quick grid demo. Instead of hello world, we'll have quick grid Blazor component, and sorry, and we're going to remove these two. We'll add a br tag. So first thing we're going to do before writing the razor code is that we'll add the code behind code over here, that is C# code over here. So this is here I'm going to actually write the code to fetch, connect the database string and connect the database and fetch the record. So let's do that. So first I'll just call Pagination. I need to add those references. So let me first add those references over here. So first we'll inject our application DB class. This is data.application DB dot, okay, and this will call refer it as data. Then we are going to use Microsoft dot ASP.NET Core dot components dot QuickGrid, and then we are going to use, since we need the model class reference, we will say using QuickGrid demo dot model. Okay, so we have done that. Now in our code behind logic, we are going to say first we need to define the page size. So in our case, we will set it as 3. So we'll say paging state, and this is pagination, and new pagination state, and here we're going to say item per size is 2. So why I'm selecting 2 is since we will have to enter records in order to, if I enter page size is 10, then we need to add at least 20 records, and if I need to add 5, then at least I need to add 10 records. So that's the reason I'm taking a smaller page size of 2, so that we just need to add 4 records or 6 records. Okay, so once this is done, we will now define a variable Okay, now the QuickGrid takes iQueryable as an object, like how we have a list objects. So for that we are going to define iQueryable, and here inside that we are going to pass person entity, and this will be items queryable. Okay, so this is a variable. Now I need to call the database and fetch the record from my table. As I just mentioned, two records, so we'll fill in the records once we complete the code. So I just go over here again and say protected override void on initialized, and here I'll remove this and just say items variable, which is a variable defined above, and this will be data. This is our variable over here right now, and data dot table name, that is person dot as queryable. Okay, and so this will actually fetch the record. So now this variable as the data, let me just show it to you, so that to ensure our code is connecting to the database and fetching this single record from table as well. So let's do that, and here you can see I'll just click on that and click on view. I should be able to see the record that I added in the table. Here right now you can see it is successfully fetching the record. Now this code is working fine and it is fetching the record. Now let us add the razor code and implement the QuickGrid. So I'm going to define class and just call it as grid. Then I'm going to use the QuickGrid. So here you can see QuickGrid tag is coming, and just in case if you don't get this QuickGrid tag as an IntelliSense, then please rebuild the application or just reload the application. Okay, many a times what happens, you are not able to get the QuickGrid IntelliSense because it is not refreshed. That's the only problem. And then you just say items and here at the rate, and this will be, we need to just use this variable which is actually having the record, and then my pagination. So there's a tag called pagination, and here we need to add this pagination over here. So this will actually control the number of page. Right now I'm not applying any CSS. We'll just load it first. So this is the first upper tag we need to include. Then we need to include the properties, that is fields. So for that we say property column and then property, and here I'm going to use lambda expression, and just for the field, so I'm going to say at the rate, and it is bracket, then this will be my lambda expression is p dot id. This is the field. So right now I'll just include one field over here. I didn't close the tag, sorry. So this, okay, so this is one field. I'll just copy that and include the another fields as well. So let me put all the fields. So field name is right over here in the entity. So we have id, first name. So just copy that and just mention first name. Then this will be last name, and then we have a date of birth, and then we have mobile, and finally we have email. So let us now load this and see the things in action. Here you can see we are successfully able to see the record over here, and right now we don't have any pagination because we are not told the grid to display the pagination over here, and plus we don't have that much of record. So let us first actually explore what are the things that we can do in this particular piece of code. First of all, you will be able to include the pagination in the footer by simply mentioning over here paginator state. So that is paginator, you're right over here, pagination state, and here you need to mention pagination, that is variable over here, which is defined over here. This is over here, which says 2. So now we'll be able to see the, if you just run the application, you should see in the bottom where you get an option. Here you can see now item 1 beautifully, and then you can see this graphs over here with page 1 of 1, and this is the navigation. So now let us do one thing quickly before we proceed. I'll just go ahead and add some records over here. I'll just pause the video and add a couple of records, and then we'll continue from there. So guys, I have added some 7 records. Let me just now refresh the page over there. So I'll just refresh the page, and here you can see now the 2 records displayed. Now we have 7 items, and then we have 4 pages. Now you can see the navigation is happening properly, and if you can see there is no sorting happening, we'll enable that. And I'll just go ahead and so our paging is working now. So I'm just going to make this page size to 4 now, and I'll also show you what all properties you can set in this. Very simply you can do this, so that you can also use sorting, and other features are also enabled. So first thing what you can do is that I will just try to run this project right now, and we will do the changes runtime so that we can see the impact and the changes real time using the auth load. Okay, we have something called, okay, so we'll use that. So here we have the first thing is we are going to apply the CSS. So in the QuickGrid we have say class, and then we are going to say table, and then the table hyphen bordered, and table stripe. Okay, so this is the CSS I applied. Then at a individual field level, that is a property level, you can also add something called sorted. So here you can say sortable is true or false. I can say this false, so I'm not allowing sorting, but whereas I can also allow sorting for the first name and last name, then date of birth and mobile. I can do that. So I can just set this as true if I want to make this sortable. You can also do that, and you can also rename the column. So here I can see right now I just click on this auto reload and save it, and then refresh it over here. It says okay, okay, fine. So let me just check this. Let me edit. Okay, so here this is a problem. Sortable, yeah, so there's a problem. I just messed up with the formatting. So yeah, this should be sorted. I just copy this and paste it as well, and here. Okay, so now let's save it, click on auto reload, and now if I come back over here, I'll just refresh it once. So now you can see the page. Now we have 2 pages because I changed the pagination size from 2 to 4. So now we have 2 pages, and we can see it is working fine. We also see that the CSS is applied, and even the sorting, you can see now the sorting is happening, the writing. But here we don't, there's no sorting, over here, because I enabled in all the places except for ID. And so even sorting worked very well. Now one more thing we can do is that if you notice we have something called, the label change showing last name without space. So even you can do that. You just have to go to the property, and there's something called title, and here you can say number for ID, and then I can say title, say first name with a space, and similarly for last name I say title last name, and then email, it's title email address or email. So I just click on auto reload and I click on save, and I come back. Here you can see it's properly now formatted, and are quickly, this is like minimum line of code I've written to implement QuickGrid pagination with sorting, and you can also do the filtering. Now this is a component that is being developed by the Blazor team, and if you want to further understand the how to add filtering and use other advanced features, just go to Google and type quick QuickGrid by Blazor team. Here you can see the first link. Here if I click on that, Here is a complete hands-on and tutorial giving quick grid for Blazor. Here you have introduction, getting started, source code, and and you have the columns and filtering. You can also do the filtering over here you can click on that and filter it as well. And pagination I've already showed. I showed you sorting. So all this code with the code is available over here, just in case you want to explore further on QuickGrid from Blazor, then definitely can visit that page. And make sure that you're using .NET 8 point .NET 8 point framework and above for using the QuickGrid and Visual Studio 2022. So guys, this was a small piece of code. Just a small, really small piece of code to implement a full-fledged pagination using the QuickGrid in a Blazor server app. So I hope you like this video, and please do subscribe our channel and share our channel link with your friend, family, and colleagues. Help us to grow our digital tech join channel, and please do comment and like all my videos. Thank you so much.